Hello everyone, welcome back to Spirit Island. Today we're going to be doing another Tactician Thunderspeaker game. User mccrispy posted some interesting comments on the Scotland game talking about how it kind of felt like the Spirit just kind of solved itself because I was able to draft some really good miners and fix the energy problems that are actually kind of core and interesting to Thunderspeaker Tactician. So I'm going to go ahead and try and play Tactician again into a different adversary. We're going to try and, I guess, not intentionally draft bad cards, but we're going to pass over some cards that would be Windmill Slam good drafts just to sort of see more what it might be like if we didn't get those good cards. We might, be fortunate or unfortunate enough that we just get bad cards anyway, in which case it'll be great. I'm going to be playing against Sweden 4. I don't really want to do this with a level 6 adversary, in part because if I'm intentionally taking worse powers, it's going to look like bad RNG, and then things are going to kind of get out of control potentially. Also, I think we talked a little bit in the comment section about it, and it might be more useful to have a lower difficulty game here as sort of an illustration of what the Spirit's capable of in sort of that more moderate level. I am going a little higher than like a Sweden 3, just because I want to keep it at about difficulty 6. So we're going to play with, I had these turned off for speedrunning things. Branch and Claw, Jagged Earth, Nature Incarnate, and Events all turned on. No scenario, no supporting adversary, and I just picked board A because it's the top of the list. It's not exactly an ideal one for Thunderspeaker, but it'll work. Alright, jungles, explore, wetlands, get an extra town. So jungle in land 8 is going to be an utter pain to deal with, probably. We could solve land 3 pretty easily with Sudden Ambush or with Words of Warning next turn. So let's draft and see what we get first. We're going to do a G3 opening again. We'll take a Miner. Gift of Living Energy, great card. Would probably be the best pick here. We're not going to take it. We're going to try and do something else. I'm thinking I'm kind of tempted by, gosh, there's the Gift of Twin Days is also potentially ridiculous, and so is Gift of Nature's Connection. And so I'm kind of tempted to just take Desiccating Winds and see what happens. I don't know that that's a good idea, but it's an idea, so we're going to try it. Yeah, mountains and sands are not really our big threats on this board. So, well, but it has Fire Element, so for now, though, we're going to do Sudden Ambush plus Voice of Thunder for our opening because we got unlucky and took Desiccating Winds. And we're going to put our second presence in land 7 here. So Sudden Ambush, Voice of Thunder. Now, I'm tempted to go into land... I'm tempted to just Sudden Ambush land 8, pull a Dahan from land 6, and then Voice of Thunder, or probably gather the warriors into land 8, destroy the town, and then Voice of Thunder to push them all out again, so that we get a less than 6 damage Ravage for only 1 Blight, and then come back and deal with the city later on. That'll also let us group up some Dahan a little better, and again, land 3 can be solved pretty easily with Words of Warning, even with the bonus damage from Sweden. Alright, so we have mountains going, that'll be fine. Let's gather 2 Dahan in, and not push any out. We'll lead the Furious Assault to take out the town, and then Voice of Thunder, push for Dahan. Let's go into land 6, I think. Yeah, we want to push them all into land 6. And then we will move 2 presents in. Now, again, we are playing a lower level Sweden. We don't have Mining Rush, so we don't have to worry about that with land 8 getting more out of control as a result. I want to keep going on this G3 bent that I've got here, so we're going to take another Miner. Ooh. I'm very tempted by Call to Ferocity, but we could also take... Well, yeah, Call to Ferocity is the only one of these that I'm all that interested in. It also doesn't fix our energy problem, but it does synergize well with our Dahan movement and such. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take Call to Ferocity, even though it is a better card for us here. So let's go ahead and go for our top track now. I'll add an extra presence to, I think, land... Where are we going to try and do Manifestation in the near future? I think I'm planning to play Manifestation next turn. And so that's going to need to happen in probably either the wetlands or the sands over here to deal with one of those cities. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the extra presence into land 3 here. And then go ahead and I'm going to play Words of Warning, and we could play Call to Ferocity. Just shove some stuff out of land 6 maybe, move Dahan into land 1, and then destroy a town. Or we could set up Desiccating Winds to try and make land 4 into more of a kill site for future turns. Let's go ahead and gain... Well, I guess we gain a sun element in either case. So let's gain a sun element. We'll play Words of Warning. And... Let's play Call to Ferocity. Because then if we get another 0 cost, we can bank an extra energy on top of playing Manifestation next turn. That'll also let us potentially gather some more Dahan into a useful place for Manifestation. Alright, Fortune Seekers. That's going to be not all that bad because we're going to have a bunch of buildings on the island. Grim Toll. Oh, we lose a Dahan. That's not great. Well... And we're not going to do any damage to help with that. So then we can reclaim a card, though, which Sudden Ambush is kind of tempting to pull back, although... Maybe that's not as useful if we're playing Manifestation next turn, because we won't have the energy for it. I guess let's take Voice of Thunder. See what happens. Vader's Ravage in the Jungles, Blight in Land 8, Build in the Mountains. Oh, and the mountains explore again. Except they don't actually explore because Fortune Seekers. That's kind of wonky. Anyway, I mean, it is what it is. So let's see. Call to Ferocity. I was thinking... So we have a Gather 2, Push 3. And we really want to deal with both of these mountains here. So let's go ahead and shove everything into... I'm a little frustrated here because losing the Dahan in land 2 kind of threw off what I was hoping to do, which was maybe gather 2 Dahan into land 3 and then push 3 Dahan into land 1. But that, I suppose, wouldn't have been that good anyway. So, let's lead the Furious Assault in land 6. We'll gather the warriors... Well, let's call to Ferocity land 1, I think. Oh wait, I need to actually... Gosh, now I'm losing my train of thought here. Let's gather the warriors into land 1. We'll pull 2 Dahan in, move 1 presence, and push the explorer and town and gain a fear and shove everything into land 4. And then land 4 will be our manifestation target next turn. Which I think we need to draft something with animal to make this work properly. But we can hopefully do that. Let's gain a minor. Hey, Nature's Resilience. That would not actually help us all that much. Rain of Blood, we could get some fear. That does have air element as well, which is nice. Tormenting Rotflies, Thriving Choke Fungus. I feel like none of these are so amazing that I'm going to try and pass over them. I'll take Rain of Blood for now, just because I feel like that pairs humorously with Manifestation of Power and Glory. We'll gain a Sun element, and we will add a presence to land 1. Get all of our presence in Dahan paired up there. So we can play Manifestation, and we can play Rain of Blood. We should be able to get both of our innates. Visions Out of Time. Oh, that's interesting. So we could cycle out Desiccating Winds for a new minor and lose an energy. Or we could do the Omen token, which I think is fine because it'll go into land 4 that we're about to clear. And we might, in fact, if they like explore sands next, be pretty happy about that. So yeah, I think that'll be fine. I think let's see. And then lands with Dahan have defend 2. If it lands with Dahan buildings and no Dahan ravage actions, Brand the Heedless. It's gonna be useless. Let's head off the problems yourself. Let's do the Omen. All right. We may choose somewhere for invaders to ravage. I want them to ravage. All right. And invaders exploring the jungle. Oh, that means we lose a Dahan. Whoops. Well, that's going to be frustrating. Well, let's Rain of Blood for some fear. We will gather the warriors. We can gather 3, push 2. So I think I want to gather 3. Well, let's see. Where can we destroy? This being down to 4 Dahan is going to be painful. Let's gather 3 into here. Well, actually, no. Now that... I'm just trying to think if there's a way I can set up a decent manifestation in land 3 while also not regretting my Omen token choice. It's the problem with playing against Sweden without doing it intelligently, which I did not do it intelligently. All right, let's move 2 presents in. Well, I guess let's move all the presents in. Feels kind of like overkill, but we will also not be able to effectively use our right innate this turn. But let's manifest there, so the Omen token doesn't... Well, actually, wait a minute. I can leave the Dahan in land 3 then, because I can gather the warriors, just pull from land 1. Well, actually, I should pull... No, this guy's safe because mountains have already explored. So let's pull 2 in from land 1, and then we can finish pushing, lead the fierce assault for the town, manifestation for the building, other stuff. And then that'll set us up, hopefully, for a useful turn next turn in land 3. All right, so now this turn we could potentially get Fire and Sun. We could go to 3 card plays. I think I'm just going to reclaim though, because I feel like I need some of my other powers back at this point. To try and help me start collecting these Dahan and maybe deal with land 8 somehow. So let's gain some powers back. We'll gain a minor first. Hazard spread across the island looks kind of interesting. We could use it to get a disease in land 3 in the fast, which might be kind of nice to stop that from getting a city. We could potentially do a manifestation play again this turn, though, with manifestation plus Voice of Thunder. We'd be dealing 12 damage, so that easily clears the land. Quicken the Earth's Struggles might be a possible solution for land 8, although if we're pushing everything into land 3, I don't know how we're going to get there in time. Renewing Boon actually could potentially do that, but we would have to get our presence in there, and I don't think there's a clean way to do that. I think I'm just going to take Quicken the Earth's Struggles just to have some options for that. Another good defend card, and then let's take a major, see if we can flex to something in another turn or 2. Tiger's Hunting is kind of fun. I don't think it's going to be useful for us. Land Thrasher's Infurious Pain could do work in land 8, especially if it does Blight and Cascade again, or Blight and Cascade, because it's going to be, what, add 2 Blight and then Cascade for a 3rd Blight. That would be kind of intense. But we could maybe do that, and then just plan on Land Thrashes to solve it. So let's do that. Let's forget Desiccating Winds. I don't think that's going to do any work for us now that we've got the sands and mountains basically under control. So this turn, I want to set up, I think, a big manifestation in land 3, and I guess I'm going to use Rain of Blood alongside it, because then I can... do I want to use Rain of Blood alongside it? I guess I guess Voice of Thunder would get me my innate power again. Let's just use Rain of Blood because then we can get a little bit more fear out of it first. So let's try that. How close are we to... Yeah, we're almost to Terror 2, so that'll be nice to have. Remnants of a Spirit's Heart. All right. We don't particularly want to give the invaders bonus health, but we're also not defending this turn, so we could just craft the Great Warding. Unfortunately, 1,000 Small Struggles is going to trigger, I believe. Which is kind of terrible, because we have 4 or fewer Dahan. Let's craft a warding. Let's forget Quicken the Earth Struggles, I think. Because we don't really need that one. And we'll be fine without that. Alright, so we add a Blight to a land without Dahan. Let's throw that in land 1, because mountains are probably pretty safe right now. In a land matching a Ravage card, 1 damage. Wonderful. Oh, and we did get some more fear there. So that's nice. Invaders explore the coastal lands. Okay, so that'll be potentially problematic. But let's get some more fear first. And then let's pull some Dahan into here and nuke it. We have what, 8? If we push a Dahan out and don't move any presence. But we probably don't want to do that in case Wetlands comes up, because it's either Wetlands or Sands next. Yeah, and we're not gonna have it in time. So let's finish pushing. We'll manifestation there. Alright, so we have 3 fear cards plus Great Warding to potentially keep land 8 under control, so that we don't just instantly lose. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and hop up to 3 card plays, and then from there play probably Sudden Ambush, Call to Ferocity, and Voice of Thunder. We could try to set up some kind of defend in land 8. I suppose if we Sudden Ambush, Words of Warning, and Voice of Thunder, we could get the... Oh no, we don't have enough Dahan over there. Never mind. So let's add some presence here. Get to 3 card plays. I guess we're gonna just spam it in land 6 so that we have a Sacred Site there, because we have way too much presence and not enough Dahan. Let's see here. I don't think I want to do the Words of Warning thing, because I'm just gonna take the hit, as it were. So we'll use the Great Warding to get a defend 4 in there. So instead of dealing, what is that, 5, 8, 9 damage, it'll deal 5 damage, so we don't get the double Blight. So we'll get Blight plus Cascade, but we should be able to survive that. Sudden Ambush, I think I want to pull into land 1 and just stop that from being a problem. And then I will work to get all my Dahan into land 2 and then eventually get back out to land 8 to clear it. Oh no, we got land Thrashes. That's what we're doing for land 8. What am I saying? So we don't actually need any Dahan in the inland of the island anymore. Years a Little Rain. Beast Token isn't going to do anything. Canny Defense isn't going to do anything. Decreased Health isn't going to do anything, so we might as well act to ease the drought. We have to forget Rain of Blood. And then we get another presence. So let's grab the Reclaim 1, I think, rather than the Fire Element, because then we can... Well, let's grab the Reclaim 1. I'm going to put the presence in land 1. Each player adds Strife to a town. If we Strife there, that gets us to 2 damage. In each land with 2 or more explorers, destroy 1 building per explorer. Remove an explorer town from a land matching a Ravage card. So that'll actually do it. We can remove the explorer from land 8, and then it will not blight. Right, invaders explore in the sands. That's fine. We will call to ferocity. Actually, where will we call to ferocity? I'm realizing again. I'm kind of in this awkward spot where there's not a good spot to use our innate. So we don't have a good lead the furious assault target, which is fine, but we should do something. So we're going to try and get to Terror 3 here in a moment. So we definitely want to try and clear the city and land 2. I don't have enough defend to actually handle that land. So let's pull these 3 Dahan out of here. And push 2 of them into land 5 with some presence. We'll destroy the town in land 5 for a fear. And then we can... Because I really don't want to like sacrifice more Dahan in land 2. And so I'm kind of tempted to just like reclaim sudden ambush or something to let that be dealt with. So I think Voice of Thunder I might actually just generate fear and then call to ferocity, push the explorer out of land 4 and into land 1 probably. So let's just generate 2 fear. Let's generate another fear. Push that that one there. And now this turn I want to... Going to 4 card plays doesn't really help us. We have the fire element. I think we're gonna go with gain a power card so that we can actually play 3 things this turn, because we can't actually afford land thrashes right now. So let's see. Entrancing Apparitions would solve land 7 really nicely. Dire Metamorphosis doesn't do too much. Drift Down into Slumber, we could... If we took Drift Down into Slumber and reclaimed Sudden Ambush, we could Sudden Ambush land 2, and then Words of Warning and Drift Down into Slumber it. But that seems bad. Like that's a lot of actions for just one thing. And it doesn't even kill the city. So I think let's just take Entrancing Apparitions here. And let's go for... we'll take the fire element, I guess. We might be able to hit our other innate level at some point. We'll put an extra presence here in land 4. Gain... Actually, I don't know which one I want to gain. Probably Sun. And then I'll have 1 energy left, so I can reclaim... Oh, how about... Voice of Thunder lets me do innates fast, which again doesn't matter too much. Well, no, it would matter if I decide to pull extra Dahan into land 2 rather than deal with land 7. So let's do that. We can gather 4, push 3. And then this will defend 5. It's going to ravage for 6. So let's gather the warriors into... So gather 4, push 3. Let's gather everyone into land 1. Push 2 into land 2. And then Words of Warning, Entrancing Apparitions, and Lead the Fierce Assault I guess we'll save for later, in case something happens on an event. Alright, when exploring once per board, place a town instead of an explorer. Okay, that's probably going to come up. Beasts provoked, add a beast, that's not going to happen. Canny defense, we get a little more defend. Each player may gather 1 into a coastal land, defend 2 in all coastal lands. That doesn't help us. That's fine. All right, jungles and wetlands explore. So let's put the town in land 2 where we already have Dahan. And then we can just simply lead the Furious Assault there. And we can push some Dahan towards land 7. Because we're probably going to reclaim again and try and warp into land 6 to clear stuff there. As well as hopefully get land thrashes down. So let's push... Well, we're going to have a bunch of air elements and probably a bunch of sun elements when we play 3 cards next turn. So let's push everything back into land 1. So reclaim, because I don't think it's that important to get the sun or the 3 energy this turn. Let's take a minor. We're not going to be able to afford a major anytime soon. Fire in the Sky is fun. That could help us with some defense or some damage prevention in land 7, just because that is going to potentially be a problem. And then let's gain... I mean, we could gain a new major and see if we get something that'll solve land 8 better than land thrashes. Because we really just need to get rid of this city, actually. Can we hit Force on this turn? No, we can't hit Force on this turn. We don't have the elements for it, or the card plays for it. So let's go ahead and grab... I don't know. Let's grab another minor. Domesticated animals go berserk. That could be good. Sky Stretches to Shore could also be very good. In fact, I think Sky Stretches to Shore just wins us the game. So let's take that. Because we play Sky Stretches to Shore. Oh, we can't afford it and Manifestation. Okay, so we'll do it next turn to kill everything with Manifestation. This turn, though, we will, I think, Fire in the Sky, Sudden Ambush, Words of Warning. Oh, we can't Words of Warning if we do Sudden Ambush. So Fire in the Sky, Words of Warning, and probably Voice of Thunder. So that'll get us Gather 4, Push 3, which will let us move Dahan from land 1 to land 7, and then Defend and Strife in that land. And then Voice of Thunder will push Dahan elsewhere, so that'll work. I think we only actually need 2 Dahan in there. So let's do that and leave 2 Dahan in land 5, because then we can use our innate there. Well, yeah, we'll Fire in the Sky here. Get to Terror 3, Strife the town, Words of Warning for additional defense, and then save leave the Furious Assault for land 5, and push things into land 8. Yes, I can use more powers, and I'm going to finish anyway. Temporary Truce. No, Temporary Caution. Skip 1 Ravage action. Okay, that's annoying, but that's fine. Okay. Each player chooses a different land with the coastal land with Dahan. We don't have one for that, unfortunately. Alright, Sands and Wetlands explore. That's fine. We're going to lead the Fierce Assault in land 5, just to do that. How close are we to Terror 4? Pretty close, but it's going to be faster to do this. So let's get some presence and Dahan in there, and then we will place some presence. Let's go to 3 energy on the top track, so we can play Manifestation and Sky Stretches to Shore, and I guess Call to Ferocity, which actually, hilariously, gets us the upper level of Lead the Furious Assault. So that's music. Oh, and we actually had a Reclaim 1 that I didn't use, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're going to just win off of this anyway. So that's game. And yeah, so hopefully that was a more interesting Tactician game in terms of not just fixing our energy econ with Gift of Living Energy. And yeah, I think that was fun. I was really, really frustrated to drop down to 4 Dahan, but hey, we got through it, so that's good. We didn't take too much blight. We definitely took more than I liked, but that's okay. All right, well, thank you everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and take care.